guys, I'd like to thank you for clicking and listening to the third edition of the St. Mike's Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pacente, back for another episode after our short hiatus during the break and during the first week back. I had a lot of work to do. I'm sure you all did too. It was CPT week, but I'm done all my CPTs. I'm done all my work, so I'm back to give you another great edition of St. Mike's Sports Radio. On today's episode, we'll be having an interview with Coach Belushi of Thunder Curling to get an inside look at the program. He answers a lot of the questions that I've had about the program for a long time, a lot of the questions that I've heard a lot of different people asking about the sport and the athletes themselves. And it's a really good interview. He gives a really in-depth and honest look inside the program. He tackles everything head on, and he really highlights the program in a really positive light. It's a really good interview. It really conveys what it means to be an athlete and be a part of Thunder Curling, and it's a really good look into the entire curling program. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it to my interview with Mr. Belushi about Thunder Curling. You're listening to Mike Radio! Hello fans, I'd like to introduce my guest for this time. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Belushi. I am a business teacher here at St. Mike's, and I coach the curling team.
So how long have you're going to get an inside look to you as a person. How long have you been part of the sport of curling? How long have you been curling?
Oh goodness, I was introduced to the game of curling originally as a 7-year-old, and later got more involved in high school, and more recently for as a player outside of coaching, I've been involved for the last 3 years. Would you say that you're really good at the sport? Not at all. and thankfully, I decided to start at a young age because I have a whole career in front of me to develop my skill in the game. So, how long have you been coaching the St. Mike's curling program? St. Mike's. Well, we started day one. Since the fall of 2010. Then we were only 2 teams. We traveled up to Orangeville to practice and played games down in Brampton. And since then, we've either had 5 or 6 teams here at St. Mike's. And previous to that, I coached at Notre Dame. I coached the girls' teams there for 3 years while I was there. One of the questions that I've heard a lot of people ask about the curling program is how many teams are there? Because during the announcements, I noticed there's a lot of different language for curling in terms of the way they pronounce their teams. How many teams does St. Mike's have in their curling program? St. Mike's, we're fortunate to have 5 competitive teams here at St. Mike's. Is that a lot compared to other schools? To many other schools. There's only a couple of other schools I can think of within Peel and Dufferin-Peel that have as many teams or 6 teams as a maximum. We have 3 at the junior level and 3 at the senior level. Yeah. How successful has the program been in the years past? How many... what would you guys say? Titles you guys won or tournaments? How would you describe your season? Goodness. Well, on the competitive side, our senior open girls did win ROPSA a couple of years ago, and we represented ROPSA at OFSA in Ottawa. And a result of that experience, that positive experience, we decided to host the girls curling provincial championship here in Brampton last year. So our senior girls had a second opportunity to compete at the provincial level. So they have been our most successful team here at St. Michael's. But outside of that, wins and losses, just been excited to be able to work with some colleagues here at St. Mike's, Mr. Boss, some former teachers, Ms. Stewart, Ms. Stronach, a community parent, coach, to introduce as many as 20 new students to the game of curling every year. Now, curling's a lot different from other sports. It's more of an individual sport, but within a team setting, I feel like it's a lot more focused on how good an individual person would play. What would you say is the different competitive mindset and the different ways you have to prepare as a curler from, say, a basketball player or a hockey player? What's the difference between those 2 athletes? Thank you for asking that question, because I think it's valuable for people to understand the distinguish the difference between a basketball player and a curler. In that curling, it's a matter of using your knowledge, your experience, your practice in the game, and it's a matter of execution. Unlike in many other sports, curlers are not coached while they are playing. So as a team of 4, those 4 individuals, will work best when they can they can communicate, with each other effectively and apply everything that they've been introduced to and practiced before the game, and making that shot that they need to make without coaches' input during play.
How far? How have you guys fared so far in this curling season? How has it been for you guys?
This season it's been a lot of fun. This year's a little bit of a transition year. We have a number of new curlers to the game, and unfortunately, we just don't have the time to practice every day or as often as we could to develop that skill, for competitive games. In terms of win-losses, we are just below, a 50-50 kind of season between the 5 teams we play. It's early in the season, though. Most of our games, most of the competition is in the month of February, and they continue it through March. So we'll see. Hopefully be successful. And then if the kids enjoy it, students enjoy it and want to return next year, I think it's a job well done. St.
Mike Sports has been going through a really big transition year, but I feel like they're watching all the teams. I played on football, watching the basketball, watching both the hockey teams. I feel like we're not reaching the same level of success that we've been in the past, but we're certainly taking a lot of positives. Is curling in the same boat there?
I think so. I think a lot of a number of the curlers who have been involved for the last couple of years speak about remaining involved in the game outside of St. Mike's. Whether it be at post-secondary on a recreational level or maybe joining a club. Some students, as a result of being introduced to the game here at St. Mike's, have gone on and joined a curling club in Brampton to curl outside of the school. So with that, I take a lot of we take a lot of positives outside of that, and hopefully this is something that they consider in the future as an adult.
Is there any outstanding players or outstanding curlers on your team that are really stepping up and playing well this year?
Oh, goodness. This year. That's a great question. Well, we have there's a number of players. I can think of on the senior girls team, Megan Stronach, who's been curling in her 4th year, is curling with 3 new players to the game. She's had the opportunity to represent St. Mike's at ROPSA and OFSA of the last couple of years, and this year she's she recognizes their team may not be as competitive as they have in the past, and she's welcomed the opportunity to simply work with some senior level students at introducing the game of curling and having some fun with it.
For someone who's never played the sport of curling or doesn't know much about it, would you encourage them to join the program?
Absolutely. That's one of our principal objectives, to introduce something new to students. Unless you live near a curling facility or have been introduced to it through a family friend, it may be difficult to ever be introduced to the game of curling. So one of our objectives is introduce something new to anyone. In curling, you don't need to be the fastest, strongest, tallest, right? You just have to have the willingness to come out and try something different. And I've assured new students to the game, you're going to step out on the ice and you're going to fall, and you're going to fall a second time, and you're going to fall a third time, but that's okay. In time, you'll enjoy that experience. You'll want to come out. You want to come out again and learn from it, and just having fun with people on the ice, doing something different.
Well, it's really encouraging to hear someone within the St. Mike sports community really welcoming new players, and it's a different sport. I feel like I know a lot of curlers personally that don't really associate themselves with sports, but they really associate with themselves with curling, and they really enjoy the program, and they really want other people to learn to appreciate the sport. And I think through your enthusiasm and your passion, I think this interview is really gonna help that. So I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the show, for answering all our questions. You were awesome. All your answers were full of thunder spirit, and that's exactly what we love. And I'd like to thank you for coming on Mike Sports Radio.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and look forward to speaking to you sometime in the future.
Well, that was a fantastic interview with the head of the curling program, the head coach of the curling program, and Mr. Belushi. He gave us a lot of really thoughtful insight and a lot of honest answers, and he's a great ambassador for the curling program. A lot of thunder spirit coming from that man. And that's our show for the week. That's the 3rd edition of St. Mike Sports Radio. We'll be back in the new semester after the exams with a lot more fun stuff, lots more look-ins and insight into all things Thunder sports. and it's going to be a big, exciting year for the show. So I'd like to thank you for listening in. Have a good day, and go Thunder. You're listening to Mike Radio!